Hello, we'll be starting in a few minutes, so if you can kindly just give us a few seconds. Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the Smart Money Talk. It's a live and interactive session where we discuss various topics pertaining to personal finance and retirement planning. This program is proudly brought to you by Access Pension Trust, a private leading pension provider in Ghana and Africa. To reach us for any retirement savings solutions, you can call us on 0302 738 555. 0302 738 555. Kindly remember to follow us on all our social media handles so that you don't miss out on any information. My name is Mimi Ananiapia, and I'll be your host for today. So we are all aware of financial mistakes that hinder us from achieving our financial goals. Today, we have here with us Mr. Emmanuel Lintre. He's the head of corporate client relations with us here at Access to discuss with us what mistakes we should avoid in 2021 so that we can achieve our financial goals this year. Welcome, Mr. Lintre. Before we continue, we would encourage you all to drop your questions and comments in the chat box, or if you are watching us on Facebook Live or YouTube in our comment section. We would also be rewarding 3 lucky viewers for answering the question of the week correctly. So make sure you are watching out for the question of the week so that you don't miss out on our pension vouchers. As I said before, welcome, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Mimi, and good afternoon to our cherished viewers.
Good afternoon. I hope you are doing well.
Yes, I'm good. I'm good by God's grace. And yourself?
I'm also doing well. Great. So we are talking about money mistakes today. What are some of the common money mistakes people make?
Okay, so to begin with, there are quite a number of people that usually make mistakes as far as managing their funds is concerned. For starters, I would say that it is not ideal to keep a lot of cash in your bank account. So when I say bank account, I'm referring to either your savings account or your current account. So if you have a bank account and you have a lot of cash sitting in the account as your balance, it is one of the huge mistakes that you can do. Now, ideally, your money is supposed to work for you. But if you leave such amount on your account, which means your money is working for somebody else. Now, this money left on the account is used by financial institutions for transaction. So an example is the bank will give your deposit out as loan, and then they'll charge interest on this loan. So sometimes the interest can be as high as 24%, 25%. Now ask yourself, how much do you receive as interest on your savings account or current account? Sometimes it's even below 1%. If you leave such an amount on your bank account, it creates no value for you. For you have to understand that inflation will erode the value of the money and also reduce your purchasing power. So an example is if you are trying to accumulate some funds to pay your school fees, you're a trader, you want to expand your business in the next year or next 2 years, every week you deposit 100 Ghana cedis in your savings account, or every month 200 Ghana cedis. The rate of growth on the savings account is nearly like zero. But if you put this money in an investment account, both your principal and even the returns that you receive will also accrue interest, and your funds will grow faster. So I'll advise that you don't leave a lot of cash on your bank accounts. Now, the bank account is just to pay for your bills and also to meet your day-to-day expenses. So ideally, you can leave about just a month expenses sitting on your account. Then you make sure that you move all the funds into an investment. People check their balance and they see 15,000, they see 20,000, they see 5,000, and they are beaming with smiles. But ask yourself what value it is to you that you are leaving such an amount on your account. So that is one of the mistakes that people do, but unknowingly they are losing value, which means their money is rather working for the financial institution. Now, the other mistake is also not having a budget. You see, a budget gives you control and helps you to determine how you want to spend your money. If you don't have a budget, which means you don't have control, you are unable to determine how to spend your money. Budget is simple. You don't have to have any special skill or experience in order to have a budget. You can use simple Excel. It can be a notebook. Now, there are a lot of apps for budgeting. It's basically just listing your income and also listing your expenses. Now, the mistake we do is that we rather try to prepare the budget after we have incurred the expenses. But we are supposed to prepare a budget which is supposed to guide us like a plan before we start spending our money. I'm sure most of us, sometimes we find ourselves in this situation. You are going out, you take 1,000 Ghana cedis. Now you come back, you have only 15 cedis. Then you begin to ask yourself, what at all did I spend or what at all did I buy that I have only 15 Ghana cedis? Then you begin to recollect, okay, so I bought a shirt, I bought a shoe, I did this, I did that. Then you realize that, okay, so there are certain things that I need that I was supposed to buy, but I did not buy. I didn't pay for the bills. I didn't buy my medicine. I was supposed to buy this food stuff. I didn't do, but you rather bought a shoe, you bought a shirt, which you didn't really need. So in that situation, you are going into an area whereby you are living beyond your needs. You have to meet your needs. You can't do without the needs. But now the resources you have is exhausted because you didn't plan, you didn't budget. You bought certain things that you did not need, certain things that you could actually do away with. Now, people earn good money, but they find it difficult to go by because they don't plan and usually they are broke. Every month, you see people who you know they are working, who are getting good salary, but in the middle of the month, then they begin to ask for loan from their friends. They begin to say, I am broke and all that. It is because you did not plan. So it is very, very important that you have a budget. On a monthly basis, you review the budget. The budget is supposed to help you to plan on how to spend your income. Then you must also try your best that you stick to the budget. Now, the other mistake we do is not investing. People usually give the excuse that, okay, so when I have excess funds, then I'll start investing. Okay, so let me spend my money, let me take care of my expenses before I think about investment. Human wants, as we know, they are unlimited. Even people say the salary that I receive is not even enough. So if you are going to wait till you meet your expenses, you meet your needs, you meet your wants before you think about investment, then definitely there'll be nothing left for you to invest. So the equation people use is income minus expenses is equal to savings or investment. So after this session, we want people to change the status quo. That the equation you are supposed to use is rather income minus investment equal to expenses. So which means that you have to pay yourself first. So after you have worked for a month and salary comes, you have to make sure that you pay yourself first. Pay your first means that you have to deduct your contributions into your investment account. Then you can live on the excess or the surplus. Deducting the contribution for investment has to be automated. Because truth be told, if the total salary amount comes into your hands, you definitely find something to do with the money. And you give an excuse, okay, so you let me use the money to do this. I'll start investing next month. A day will come, a month will come, years will come. Definitely when the money comes into your hand, you will definitely find something to do. So you should make sure that before the money hits your account, there are a lot of avenues in which your investment contributions can be deducted before the funds hit your account. You can even do a payroll deduction, you can even do direct debit, or you can even have a standing order arrangement with your bankers. Now, when assuming you are receiving 2,500 Ghana cedis, every month you want to invest 200 Ghana cedis. The 2,300 Ghana cedis that will come to you, as time goes on, you'll be used to it. You adjust and be able to live on that money. You wouldn't even know that there has been a deduction of 200 Ghana cedis. But the good news is that even though you might forget about the 200 Ghana cedis, that money is growing for you. The power of compounding interest will trigger. After 5 years, after 10 years, you'll be amazed how much you've been able to accumulate. So it is very, very important. Now, this mistake of not investing, okay, gives rise to another mistake, that people try to live on salary. So which means that salary from paycheck to paycheck. So if my salary comes this month, I consume everything. Next month, I consume everything. We are not putting funds aside, okay, to meet the unexpected circumstances that come. We know what the COVID-19 pandemic has caused us. There are people who lost their job, and unfortunately, they were crying that SNP should give them some of their pensions, Tier 2 should give them some of their pension. But that's also, if you had put some money aside, it is not about the amount, but it's about starting the consistency and the time. So it can be 100 cedis a month, 200 cedis a month. You'll be able to fall on that funds that you've been able to accumulate. So now if your employer says that I can't pay you for the next 2 months, what do you do? It is a challenge. If a relative is not well, doctor says that I need 5,000 Ghana cedis to save the life of your relative. Are you able to cover that money? So it is always important that we put some money aside. Now, what this mistake will also lead to another mistake. Because this particular issue one is facing, because let's say it's a hospital bill, you have to pay the bills. Then you resort to taking of loans. That is a short-term solution. Now, before you take loan, you have to actually research, review, assess, and be sure that you need the loan. But because of the urgency of taking the loan, and now there are a lot of promotion that goes on, quick loan, you can get a loan within a day, within 24 hours, within 3 hours. So you don't even think, then you go in and pick the loan. Now this becomes an issue for you. If you see people coming, I've been paying this loan for the past 3-4 years, I'm still not done. But before you take a loan, there are certain factors that you have to consider. Will your current income be able to meet the monthly repayment of this loan? Because of the urgency of the funds you need, you will not even consider that. But maybe your salary might not be able to meet that. Secondly, is the interest rate you are receiving a competitive one? There are a lot of institutions giving out loans at various rates. Some are higher, some are lower. So the loan you are going for, because you're in a hurry to pick the loan, you don't even have the time to be able to check whether the rate you are getting is a good one. You might get a loan that will say, okay, so I'm giving you 6%. Is it 6% a month or 6% per annum? So some of the rates might say 6%, but it might be 6% per month. So if you don't take all these things into consideration, then you find yourself wanting. Even is the interest rate fixed or floating? So it is very important that we put all these things into consideration. Now, the other mistake that we also do is that we keep all our investment in one account. That is a big error. Every investment, okay, has a purpose. I'll just advise that ideally you should have at least 3 accounts. So it can be an emergency fund, It can be a fund that can meet your short-term to medium-term goals. It can also be a retirement fund. So make sure that you don't lump all your investment into one account. The challenge is that you might deplete your funds, but you have not catered for other activities. A fund that caters for your retirement, emergency needs, also caters for your short-term to medium-term goals. You can always go in and pick it and let's say buy a car, buy a flat screen. Now you go on retirement, you realize that no, my fund has been depleted. If you have the three accounts with each having a particular purpose, I will advise you stick to the purpose. It is not advisable that you pick funds from a retirement account to go and buy an iPhone or to go and buy a car. Sometimes our employers give us room to withdraw our provident fund. You see people withdrawing the provident fund to go and buy the latest phone in town, to go and buy a car, but forgetting that the purpose of the provident fund is towards your retirement.
Okay.
Yes.
I can't hear you. Can you unmute your mic?
My microphone is not muted, it's on mute. Can you hear me now? You still can't hear me.
Oh, it's better now.
You can hear me now.
Yes, yes,
So,
we can.
at what point did you miss me, please? So I can just.
You spoke about keeping your investment in an account and the need to open three accounts, the emergency, retirement, and then the medium to long term funds.
Great, great. And then sticking to the purpose of these accounts. You can't take a retirement fund from a retirement account to meet your short-term goals. Retirement account to go and pay your rent. It is an error. If you're able to discipline yourself with this individual account, you'll be able to be financially sound and healthy. It is very, very important. But people go through financial stress that are needless. If you had planned, you'll be able to meet your expenses as and when they fall due. Then, lastly, what I will touch on is lending money to family and friends. This is a very difficult one, but I think that is one of the big mistakes that we do. Usually, we are unable to say no when family or friends approach us asking us for a loan. But the challenge is, if let's say this loan is to pay my rent in the next, this money is to pay my rent in the next 2 months. I give the money to you, you assure me that, okay, so I'll pay you in the next 2 months. The repayment date is due, I have to pay my debt, and the person says that I don't have the money for you. Now, what do? You find yourself in a very difficult and an uncomfortable situation. Sometimes we try to please people at the comfort of our own peace of mind. It is an error. There are certain things that you have to do when a relative approaches you for a loan. You must first assess the situation. First of all, I'll say that if you cannot give the person the loan, you can give an amount of money and offer it as a gift. Money that you give to the person that if it doesn't come back, you are okay, you are comfortable, you won't go through sleepless night thinking about where to get money to pay my child's school fees, to pay my rent, to pay my bills and all that. So if it's a gift, fine, you can give it to the person as a gift. So I come to you, I need 1,000 Ghana cedis. I can give you 500 cedis, 300 cedis. You don't pay back. It's my gift to you. It is a very good gesture because I've seen relationship being destroyed because people have taken loans from friends and families and they have not paid. Secondly, too, if the person is a salaried worker, it is important that you empower people to be financially sound. Okay, teach them how to fish, then give them the fish because they eat the fish, they consume it, finish, they'll still come back to you. So why don't you sit the person down? How much do you earn a month? Let's look at your expenses in a month. There might be certain things that you can definitely cut away to be able to give you money or excess money, to be able to have money and not find yourself in such a situation, which means you are empowering the person to be financially independent. So that is the second advice I can give. I had a friend who told me that somebody approached him that she needed a loan. So she asked the person, okay, so you come and let's have a discussion. How much do you earn a month? Let's see the things that you use your money for. The person never came back. So meaning sometimes people know that, okay, so Asimasi is there, I can always go and take money. So why don't I just use the money anyhow and I can fall on Mr. A and fall on Mr. B? So when they approach you, it is good that you empower them, educate them. These things you are doing, it is not good. Reduce this amount, cut this amount. Then you'll be amazed the amount of money that they'll be able to save. When all these means have been exhausted, you can help the person to acquire a loan from a financial institution. So I'll just hold on here. If you have any further questions, we can pick
Thank
them.
you so much, Mr. Entre, for all those tidbits. I'm sure we all find ourselves, or we all are familiar with one or two of these mistakes. I'll just go through them again. We said we should avoid keeping too much cash in our bank accounts. We should definitely have a spending plan, which is a budget. We should not just save, but we should invest. We should definitely have an emergency fund just in case of any, emergency like what happened last year. We should be very careful about taking loans, especially when we don't have an emergency fund. And because of that, we are forced to go and take loans. We should be very careful about that. And then we should also not keep all our investments in one account. And he said, if possible, you can have 3 accounts, one emergency account, one for your medium to long-term goals, and one for your retirement. And the last one was be careful about giving loans to family. So that was a very, very, very important discussion we had there. So, Mr. Entre, we've had all this. How do we avoid some of these mistakes that you discussed, you brought to bear?
Okay, so usually you meet people who make such mistakes and they'll say that, I wish I had known about these things earlier. So education is very key. There's a point where I'll commend Access Pension Trust for this important and good initiative. The Access Smart Money Talk, I'll just entreat all our viewers that you should not miss any session because knowledge is power. So the moment you are equipped with the requisite information, then you'll be able to make good decisions. So that is key. So seek for knowledge, seek for information. You can speak to Access Pension Trust. We have financial advisors. They can always come in and advise you. If you have any doubts, you have issues with your money, so you can always speak to them. Now, you should always start budgeting. So if you don't have a budget, as I said, it is not anything difficult. So your income, your expenses, so your needs and wants, there are certain things that you can always do away with and you still survive and you still live. You won't die. So if you don't have a budget, you should begin to start planning and taking control of your money, okay? And taking control of your money. That is very, very key. In the event when you are spending more than you are earning, then definitely you have to be able to take out certain expenditures. Meeting with the boys to have some drinks, even going to the gym, you can decide to have a skipping rope, you can skip, you can go for a walk. You see, these are necessary changes that you have to be able to adapt to be able to make sure that you don't fall into such mistakes. As I also mentioned, you should pay yourself first. Automate your contributions into your investment account. Enough of the excuses. Okay, so I'll start today, I'll start tomorrow. Start investing today. Have a fund whereby you can fall on in the event of an emergency. It is very, very important. If you don't know where to invest, if you don't know how to invest, you don't know who to talk to, you can always speak to Access Pension Trust because the rainy day will come. The unexpected will always happen, but we have to prepare to meet them. Then lastly, what sometimes we do unknowingly is leaving a lot of cash in your bank account. You say that, oh, I don't have enough money to invest. I have about 5,000 Ghana cedis in your bank account. It keeps increasing every week. It keeps increasing every month. You are accumulating it for a particular assignment or project. It is not prudent to leave it sitting down on your bank account. Put it in an investment. Get value for those monies. Then I think that we will be able to avoid these mistakes. Mimi, I think that you are Unmute. We can't hear you, Mimi. Unmute your microphone, please. No, unmute your microphone.
Sorry. Before we answer the questions that are coming, and remember to drop your questions in the chat box. I can already see a lot of interesting questions coming up. So remember to drop your questions. If you're on Facebook Live, remember to drop it in our comment section, and we'll do well to answer. Before we answer the questions, I already find myself in a situation where I've already made some of these mistakes. Maybe some have even come to harm me already. How do I get back on track?
Okay, so just to give you some comfort, because sometimes you make mistakes and you want to beat yourself and you think that that is the end of the world. But I know people who have made mistakes and they bounce back stronger. So it is not only you. You are not the first person to make a mistake, neither will you be the last person. So it is very important to understand that. And also you have to know that making mistakes is not the issue, but what you do after the mistakes have been made. Will you still remain on the ground, beat yourself up and say, okay, so I've made mistakes. That is it, so I'll leave and continue to make those mistakes. Or you will get up, shake off the dust, begin to adjust, make certain changes to your life, come out of those mistakes, and make sure that you are financially independent. So first of all, you have to acknowledge that indeed I have made these mistakes. Because if you don't accept it and acknowledge it, then you will not be able to change. If I don't accept I've made mistakes, why do you want me to change? Because I think that everything is fine with me. So first of all, come to that point of realization that indeed I have not managed my finances well. If you get to that point of realization, then you have to assess your current situation. If I've not managed my finances well, the mistakes I've done, where am I currently? What are my liabilities? Is my expenses outweighing my income? Do I have so much debt? Am I not investing? I don't have a budget. So all those things will give you an idea where you are currently. Then you ask yourself that where do I want to be? So where I am and where I want to be, definitely there ought to be certain things that you have to do, some actions that you have to take to be able to achieve that particular goal. And those actions are what we have indicated. But of course, if you find yourself in such a situation, you can always speak to Axis Pension Trust. So these are the mistakes that I've done. This is where I want to be. I want to be at a point whereby my income will exceed my expenses. I want to be at a point where I'll be financially independent. I want to be at a point whereby I will sleep and not wake up at dawn and think about money. I don't want to undergo financial stress. Now, what are the things that I can do to be able to achieve those goals? I want financial peace of mind. Then you'll be able to take those actions. But first of all, also be willing and committed to the process. It might not be easy at the initial stage, but if you are willing and committed, definitely you come out stronger and you begin with smiles. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was so important. So first of all, you mentioned that we have to acknowledge that, there's a problem. Yeah. Secondly, we should assess ourselves where we are right now, and then we should seek for help. And then we should also be committed and know that it may not be easy in the beginning, but definitely we'll be able to achieve our goals. Okay, so we will be taking some questions. Remember to drop your questions in our chat box or our comment section, and we'll do well to have them answered. Also, remember to look out for the question of the week. We want you to go away with that pension voucher so that you can start, saving towards your retirement, which will be one of the things that you need to do to change the course of events if you have not started already. So we'll take the first question coming from Jacqueline, and she's asking if there are any suggestions on the investment plans to look at.
Yes, so there are quite a number of them. Of course, if your employer is doing a provident fund for you, that is one. But the other bit is it is very important to take your own future into your own hands. Okay, for retirement, we have the personal pension, where on your own you can put aside 100 Ghana cedis every month, 200 Ghana cedis every month. It might look small to you, but because of the power of compounding interest, you can speak to Access Pension Trust. This is a very flexible investment package. You decide where deductions should be done. You can automate your deduction. After 5 years, you can take the money to be able to meet any short-term goals you have. So I think that this is one important investment plan or package that you can take advantage of to be able to meet your financial goals. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other investments that they can also look at?
Yes, so you can
for
actually
the emergency fund and the rest that you spoke about.
yes. So you can actually do a treasury bill. There are also mutual funds. Some noble institutions also have mutual funds that you can also invest in. So if it's an emergency fund, you can choose to do a mutual fund whereby it is very liquid. In the event you have an issue, you can always walk in and withdraw without charges. Yes, so you can do mutual fund. You can also look at treasury bill, as I said, corporate bond is also there. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Indra. I encourage you, before you go ahead to invest, you can talk to the financial advisor. And in Access, we have that service, as Mr. Indra mentioned. We'll look at your objective and help you to be able to choose the right investment. So you can do that. We also have a question coming from Nana Bense, and he's asking, how practical is it to review your colleague's budget, like you suggested, when they come to you to ask for a loan?
Okay, so the good thing is it is your colleague that needs the assistance. Okay, so you have to let your colleague understand that it is a mistake that you are making. Are you happy in the situation that you find yourself? That every time you are asking for loan, as human beings, having your self-respect and dignity is very key. I know people who are shy to even ask for loans because they think that if you go for ask a colleague for a loan, say, but you how come you're asking for a loan? Don't you receive the same pay as myself? Some people don't care. But let them understand that this is a challenge we are facing. I was facing the same challenge, and I was able to review my budget and be able to cut down on my expenses. Now, do you need my help or not? If your colleague says no, that's fine. But if you need my help to support you, then you should be willing to accept the help I'm going to give to you. You can choose not to tell me your income or your earning, but let's look at what you spend your money on. If the person is a friend, the person is a family member, and the person is willing to change and not find him or herself in such a situation, because I'm sure less nights come in, financial stress comes in, how can I pay this and all that? So if they're willing to change, then I think that they should also be willing to allow you to help them. Yeah.
That's great. One thing I like about what you said was the fact that I was struggling with this, and this is how I went about it, because sometimes people can be a bit emotional when it comes to money. So you want them to feel like, it's not just peculiar to you. That's great. Michael Lopari is asking, great discussion. What are some of the common mistakes you see retirees make?
Okay, that's a good question from Michael. Some of the mistakes are that they quickly deplete their lump sum. Okay, so what they forget is that, yes, I was working, I was receiving monthly salary, there were allowances that were coming in, there were certain benefits which was able to help me meet a particular kind of lifestyle. Now they go on retirement and they forget that, hey, some of these allowances and benefits might not be coming anymore. But there's a tendency for you to still keep up with those lifestyle. I have money, they have 100,000, I have 80,000, 50,000. Irrespective of how huge your lump sum is, if you withdraw and spend it, the time will come, it will finish. So they continue to keep up with that same lifestyle. And then before they realize the lump sum they received is finished. So that is one of the key mistakes that retirees also do. The other mistake is that they might have a building project. They will take this money Go and invest the money in the building project, and guess what? It's not able to complete the building. Now you have an uncompleted building. You are not getting value for your retirement benefits. Your landlord is chasing you to pay your rent. So it is a huge mistake you are doing. Okay, so the retirement benefit you are receiving, it is not supposed to go into your building project. It is supposed to take care of you whilst you're in retirement. Now, some people also continue to still be in 6-bedroom house, 5-bedroom house. They build because of their family size. Children have married, they have moved on, and just the two of them. It's a story building. Mom and dad is too old. They can't even climb the staircase. They just use the hall and the room there, so they can't even go upstairs. Why don't you rent out this building and go for a smaller one? Because maintaining such a building is even expensive. Okay, so it is better to rent a smaller building. Then you can even rent this one. Because maintenance alone can even cause you to deplete your retirement benefits. The other bit is some of them, again, trust themselves so much that they refuse to buy annuity. Annuity, it is very, very important because it helps you to be able to manage your funds to cater for you throughout your retirement life. And the good news is, in the event of death, you might even have some excess funds to give to your beneficiaries. So you decide that, okay, so I'm receiving this amount of money from Smith. Okay, I need this amount to be able to live comfortable, let's say every month. Now the difference, can you give it to me on a monthly basis? The excess is also in investment, accruing interest. So you don't have to think about where you get money from. You'll be able to live comfortably throughout your retirement life. So these are some of the few mistakes that retirees do. And the good news is that Access has an annuity plan, and the testimonies are great. People go on retirement, and you can see the joy because they are assured of some funds, some money every month. At the same time, their future is also, or their tomorrow is also secured. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anche. Okay, Bream Mensa is asking, you said we shouldn't put all our money in the bank. Please, what about Treasury bill?
Yeah, so Treasury bill is an investment. Okay? So that's why I mentioned that bank account, savings account, and current account. So you can decide to buy Treasury bill. It's also a form of investment.
Yeah. Okay, great. Jeffrey Okine is asking, what are some of the ways married folks earning less than 1,500 can avoid some of these tactics or mistakes?
I didn't hear the question well. Please repeat the question.
He's saying that what are some of the ways married folks earning less than 1,500 can avoid some of these mistakes?
Yes, okay. So if you're earning less than 1,500 Ghana cedis, ask yourself, do you have a budget? Okay, what are my needs? What are my wants? I can do away with some of the wants. If it's a guy, as I mentioned, say every evening I go out with the boys, I can do without it. Some people also bet that can also take away your income. If you're a lady, you keep buying shoes, you keep buying dresses. But if you realize that this is the amount of money I receive every month, 1,500, this expensive, these are the things that I can do away with. If you are able to discipline yourself and be committed to the process and you cut down your expenses, truth be told, you will be able to have some excess funds and put into investment. As I mentioned, that every amount you receive, you can be able to adjust your lifestyle to meet them. See, people who receive 1,500 Ghana cedis are saying they have challenge investing. Let's increase the salary to 5,000 Ghana cedis. The same challenge will arise because irrespective of the amount that you receive, you always have wants and things to buy. The human nature likes to buy. That is the nature of the human being. You go out there unplanned, you see a shirt, it's nice, I want to buy. On your group page, people post shoes and post things there, you're always tempted to buy. But if you have a plan and you discipline yourself, you'll be amazed the kind of things you can do. Some people sell water and they build. People sell water and they expand and they even become distributors. So let's not focus too much on our salary, but let's be committed that these are the changes or these are the things that we want to do. And definitely, where there is a will, there is always a way.
Thank you. Thank you. There are so many questions coming up. I think this is a very interesting topic. Isaac Mensa Newton is asking, please, could you suggest any retirement investment options available I can consider?
Yes. So if it's an employer, Access, we have the Provident Fund Scheme. So you can speak to us. The Provident Fund Scheme is very, very good as an employer to have one for your employees, because see, every good employer, there is one cardinal indicator, is how well your employees live when they go on retirement. So this is one sure way of securing the future of your employees. If you're an individual, we also have the Access Pension Plan. It has nothing to do with your employer. This is a case where you have your own retirement in your hands. Then you decide how you want to live when you go on retirement. Or let's say, I want to buy land in the next 5 years. I want to start building in the next 6 years. Access Pension Trust, I will need 50,000 Ghana cedis in the next 50 years. How much do you think I can put down every month, starting from today, to be able to meet that particular goal? So we have that investment package there to be able to help you. So we have the Provident Fund and also the Access Pension Plan. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Before we continue with the rest of the questions, the question of the month is, which one of these is a tactic to avoid money mistakes? Which one of these is a tactic to avoid money mistakes? A, save all your money with one bank. B, befriend powerful friends. C, pay yourself first before spending. A, save all your money with one bank. 2, befriend powerful friends, sorry. C, pay yourself before spending. So remember to drop that in the comment section. That's if you're on Facebook, if you're here, the chat box. Okay, so there's another question from Bright Akufu, and he's asking, can I stay at a low-paying job? Can staying at a low-paying job be a financial mistake?
This is an interesting question. And I wouldn't say it's a financial mistake in the sense that if there is an opportunity for you to get a job that pays higher, you can take it. But I just want you to understand that when it comes to work, salary is not the only consideration. There are working conditions that you have to consider. So even though your focus is on salary, I want to draw your attention. There are certain conditions. Let's say an environment where it is very hostile, but you are going to receive a higher amount, where you wake up in the morning, even going to take your bath, and you are so angry with yourself because you are coming to meet a very horrible boss, or such an unfriendly environment, or an environment where you come to work, you are so happy. Bear in mind that majority of your time in the day is spent at the office. About 8 hours is spent at the office. So it's good if you have an opportunity to move, but also consider the working conditions as well. The other bit is that you can also do something on the side. Okay, so you can decide to do business on the side, maybe sell shoes, sell clothes, anything that can also generate an additional income to you can also be considered. Yes, so I think that is it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Jonathan Ayenso is asking, thank you very much for the insights, Mr. Entre. Please, what are some of the things to consider before investing in a startup business? this is a whole session.
Okay, so
Maybe you can
before
just give us a little.
before investing in what? Sorry?
In a startup business.
Okay, yeah. So that's a very, very good question. Okay. So for a startup business, I don't know if it's a business that has been in operation for, let's say, a year or two. But if it has been in operation for a year or two, you'll be able to consider the cash flow of, of the business. So if it's a year or two, you can see that the venture or the activity that the business is engaged in is in high demand. It is something that people are willing to patronize. Then, of course, you'll be able to put your money in there. The other bit is also to look at how the entrepreneur or the business owner manages the affairs of the business. So if you see that the business owner who wants to pay his house bills goes into the account of the company, dips his hands inside, takes money to pay the bills, wants to pay school fees, dips his hand inside, which means this is somebody who cannot manage the finances well. You should remember that investing, you need some returns. Even if you're not going to get returns, you should make sure that you don't lose your initial deposit or initial investment amount. So if the business owner demonstrates certain unethical behaviors, I don't think that it is a good business that you can invest in. Now, is it a particular business that you have interest in or knowledge about? That is very, very important, because so far as you have placed your money there, you have an interest in that particular company. So if you have knowledge about that company, then you'll be able to offer your expertise, you'll be able to guide them, maybe help them with their books, accounting wise, be able to give them advice, how to manage your finances and all those bits. So these are the few things that you can consider when investing in a startup business.
Thank you so much, Mr. Entre. That has been very insightful, and we can tell from all the responses that we've had so far that these are good tips that we are going to implement. And then by the time we come next time, we'll have some good news, because Agnes definitely wants to see you succeed financially. And in that line, we have 3 lucky winners for this week. So the question of the week was, which one of these is a tactic to avoid money mistakes? A, save all your money with one bank. B, befriend powerful people or friends. C, pay yourself first before spending. And the answer is C. Our lucky winners are Mami Intifo, Jeffrey Okine, and Kinsley Ejapon. Congratulations, you just won yourself a pension voucher. So remember to reach us on 0302 738 555, 0302 738 555, and we'll provide you with the information on how you can claim your pension voucher. Also remember that unfortunately we couldn't answer all the questions. We really wish we could have, but you can call us on 0302 738 555, and we'll do well to answer all the questions that are on your checks. Thank you so much, Mr. Entre, once again for such an insightful session. Thank you everyone for joining the Smart Money Talk. Our next session will be in April, and you don't want to miss it, because it's going to be extra exciting and extra informative. Remember to follow us on all our social media handles so that you don't miss any updates. We normally share some tips here and there, and also provide some news items, so you don't want to miss out on that. So make sure you are following us on all our social media platforms. As I said earlier, this program is proudly brought to you by Agnes Pension Trust. For all your retirement savings solutions, reach us on the number that has been provided in the chat box. Until next month, be safe and take care. Have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you.